You said we're going into Esther.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the book of Esther. We're gonna start in verse. We're gonna start at chapter 1.
You going straight there now, Esther?
Yeah, first I'm gonna bring up, and I gotta bring up the Romans 12 and 2. Then we're gonna jump over to Ecclesiastes, then we jump into Esther.
Okay.
All right, whenever you're ready,
Listen, all
sis.
right. This is the book of Romans, chapter 12, and verse. Well, should I read verse 1 first?
No, you can read verse 1. Go ahead.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 12, and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service.
Come. Keep going.
And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh.
Come. So it's all about what's perfect and good unto the Most High Yahweh, not the way we look at it and think of it. That's why it's so important for us to continue separating our mentalities from this world, man. This is we had a little conversation earlier. How this world it can do so many things to us mentally, and we're not people of this society. In that sense of the world, we're not a part of this. That's why the things of this world they don't help us. They're not beneficial to us. They only tear us down and they put us in these mental states that just get us trapped. We become like zombies, and unless we cleave into the Most High Yahweh's word, we ain't gonna make it out of it, man. All right. All right, just jump into Ecclesiastes. We're gonna go to chapter 5, verse 1.
Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5, and verse 1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of Yahweh, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil.
Come on, keep going.
Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before Yahweh. For Yahweh is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore let thy words be few.
Come on. And that's what we got to do when it comes to this word always. People always want to get your opinion on the scriptures. What do you think? I don't want to hear what the Bible says. What do you think? All that's foolishness. How you going to outthink the creator, the person that made you? It makes no sense. And people like to be hasty with things. That's why the scripture, as we go through the scriptures, we got to learn to hold fast and just do a whole lot more listening than talking. That's the way you learn anything. You can't go to a school where you're trying to learn a trade or something, and you're trying to teach the teacher something. You know, the person in the position to teach you, that's their job to do it. It ain't your job to teach the person that's supposed to be teaching you. Right. So with that, let's go ahead and go into the book of Esther. All right, we're gonna start at chapter 1. I'll probably take this to like chapter 7. Let's get into 1. Start it there.
Okay.
All right, sis. From there.
All right. This is the book of Esther, the first chapter, and verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Asherus, this is Asherus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces. That in those days when the king Asherus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, in the third year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan the palace. both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace, where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen and purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king.
Kind of Salaki. Just real quick to throw this out there. This is a book of Esther. This is another time when we weren't in rulership. We under another nation. At this time, this is going into the Medo-Persian Empire. We wasn't running nothing. So as we know, this only happens when we not listening to the Most High, keeping the commandments. That's why I always like to go through. Let's get back to the commandments and keep them. That's the only way we're gonna even get out of the situation we're in right now. So we're gonna see how the Most High, play this whole thing out. Because the Most High would sit back and let us do what we do. Because the Most High know we know better, especially at this time. We knew way better. So the only way we're going to come out of these situations of captivity and be put in a hierarchy as how we was created to be is coming back to the Most High. And even though we go through the worst of times, we always got to remember to stay faithful to the Most High Yahweh. Just because we're not in power, we're in rulership, is no reason to stray away and just accept it like, oh, you know what, we just some messed up people. We just gonna be like that. No, we got to fight for that position. All right, sis, you had something?
No,
All right,
keep
slide.
going.
Keep going.
Okay, this is verse 8. And the drinking was according to the law, none did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also, Vashti the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcas, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
Kind of Salaki. So this is a woman of his nation, right? I say this wasn't our people in rulership. We under the Middle Persian Empire, and nowadays our women have this mentality. Other nations they didn't know how to deal with this royal treatment. You the queen. Your power is far beyond the average, and it's put on you to act a certain way. That's why we tell our sisters, and them being royalty, they got to dress a certain way, they got to speak a certain way, they got to carry themselves with this, with the spirit of being pleasant. They got to be humble, they got to be shamefaced. So in this situation, this queen right here, she she ain't listening, and this is a great embarrassment. And this makes the king look weak. Make the king look like he got no control over nothing. Make him look powerless. You're a king. You got the power, as we read in the Apocrypha. I think it's in First Esdras, the fourth and the fifth chapter, I believe, where it say that the woman was the strongest. A woman can tear down a whole kingdom, just one of them, a whole kingdom. You know, in this situation, I'm gonna have you go ahead and read it all. Sis. Just look how her whole behavior was. You know, I said our women supposed to be better. And these are the type of behaviors and stuff our women shouldn't have, being royalty. All our sisters are royalty, royal lineage, royal bloodline, everything, man. Royal from the womb, from creation. Keep going, sis.
Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshena, Shetar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsenna, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law? Because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus.
Slack is she's a great embarrassment, a shame. That's one thing nowadays, and I don't care what nation it is, but my primary focus is always our own nation. But women today, they lack the ability to account. They lack accountability. They do the most heinous things, and they not ashamed about it. They ain't sorry about it. They don't even care. This is a
Mm-hmm.
great shame. You a queen, and this is a position that a lot of women say they want to be in. They want the high value man, but they don't know how to act with that. They don't deserve that. you know. And when you tell them that how they should behave themselves to actually get that, they don't want to do that. And it's plain and simple, very very plain and simple. But it has to go the way they want it to go. For them to be pleased by it. But this is a great a great mess right here. But Slocky, keep going, sis.
Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not.
And it's also saying, this is not something that they wanted to get out, so other women think this is okay to do. What the queen did, what, and nothing happened to her. You know, Women pick up on that type of behavior. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I could be in the White House with the president, and I could damn fool, I can get an OnlyFans page, being the president's wife, which that'll never happen. That'll never happen. No, not in a million years. You know, if that did, we know this place is seriously doomed.
Mm-hmm.
Any second, this place would just explode. But it's like it says,
Yeah.
keep going.
Verse 18 reads, Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
Because it's always somebody better. Most women don't believe that. They think they so much the sugar honey iced tea. Can't nobody be nothing better than me. You know, and I know a lot
Mm-hmm.
a lot of brothers know that, man. You get a woman, she unruly. She think in her mind, like she's the mold. She's the ceiling. Like that's it. That's all you can get. Can't do no better. You gotta deal with it. Nah, there's always something better. Keep going, sis.
Okay. Verse 20. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. And the same pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people.
Con. Right. So that's done. Let's know as men, we gotta run our households. We can't deal with unruly women. And it's not saying that you won't have a disagreement. That's normal. But for your wife just to blatantly disrespect, just you telling her to come in, she just blatantly just nah, I ain't doing none of that. What? Come on. That's too much, way too much. All right. So she definitely showing she not deserving of that position that she in. She don't know how to handle that. All right, just go ahead, jump into chapter 2.
Okay. This is still the book of Esther, the second chapter, verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Hej the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the king pleased the king, and the thing pleased the king, and he did so.
Get that replacement, man. And that's what women say to us nowadays. You know, they ready if you ain't doing what they want you to do, how they want you to do it, because our women they want to run the household and everything. They want to run the world. They ain't running nothing but they mouths, right? Keep going.
Verse 5. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Kind of. They're just showing that order because also I think I explained this some lessons ago when it came to marriage. If the girl didn't have a father, next in line to be the uncle, or if she had a brother, or if there was somebody, a male figure close to the family, it's just like a rank and file falling order that somebody was able to step in and be the acting father for the daughter. In this case was Hadassah, which is known as Esther. Keep going,
Okay.
sis.
Verse 8 reads, so it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together in Shushan the palace to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her her things for purification, which with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, but Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women. For so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Sheshgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king. She required nothing but what Hagar, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. So Esther was taken unto King Ahasuerus into his house, royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king,
Salaki says you got an echo going on.
yeah, okay. Verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree. And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
All right. So we got Hadassah, also known as Esther. She was put in the place of Vashti, who didn't really want to be in that position. She got replaced, and it's showing our women. Esther was an Israelite woman of the tribe of Benjamin. You know how elegant, how how soft spoken, how gentle, how kind, all of those nice things that us men we look for in our women, that she had it. So it's showing us, our women, they can behave themselves in that righteous manner. They can be good and on point. We just got to get back to it, and we got to see ourselves, collectively as a nation. Of course, we got to see ourselves as this being this, because that's what it is. We got to stop thinking that these people in the scriptures were of another nation, of another nationality, right? Because no nation does what we do, nor how we do, nowhere near close to it.